Imagine walking into a room full of people who refuse to look you in the eye. Cameras flash, reporters whisper, and every smile feels fake. That's been Queen Camilla's life for decades. She didn't just marry a man. She married into one of the biggest scandals in royal history. And for many, she will never be forgiven. But here's the thing. What if everything you think you know about Camilla Parker Bowles is only half the story? When King Charles and Queen Camilla walked out of Westminster Abbey during the coronation ceremony, something subtle but chilling happened. The crowd didn't flinch. Not a head turned, not a smile cracked as Camilla passed. It was like a silent protest. And whether they said it out loud or not, the message was clear: many people still haven't forgiven her. But why? Why is there still so much hate toward Camilla, even decades later? To understand the bitterness surrounding Queen Camilla, we have to go back to where it all began, the golden years of Princess Diana. The people's princess, Princess Diana, wasn't just a royal figure. She was a phenomenon. Elegant yet relatable, compassionate yet regal. She connected with people in a way no royal had before. Whether it was shaking hands with AIDS patients at a time when the world was terrified of them, or hugging children in war zones, Diana's warmth was unmatched. And she wasn't just loved. She was worshipped also. When word of Charles and Camilla's affair began circulating, it felt like a dagger to the nation's heart. People weren't just disappointed, they were furious. Diana had been painted as the perfect princess. And in the fairy tale, there was no room for another woman. Then came the bombshell. Interview in 1995. Diana sat down with journalist Martin Bashir and uttered the now infamous words, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That one sentence changed everything. The public didn't just blame Charles. They hated Camilla. The ultimate villain from that moment. Camilla Parker Bowles was cast as the villain, the homewrecker, the manipulator, the other woman who destroyed a marriage and broke a nation's heart. Every tabloid, every headline, every photograph painted her in the worst possible light. It didn't help that Camilla, unlike Diana, wasn't charismatic or particularly photogenic. She wasn't trying to win anyone over. And in the eyes of the public, she wasn't just a problem. She was the problem. By the time Diana and Charles officially divorced in 1996, Camilla had become one of the most hated women in Britain. And when Diana tragically died a year later in a car crash, public outrage only deepened. A wedding no one wanted when Charles finally married Camilla in 2005. It wasn't a royal wedding full of cheers and national pride. It was quiet, awkward, and heavily criticized. Instead of getting married at Westminster Abbey, the couple held a civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall, followed by a blessing at St. George's Chapel. Queen Elizabeth herself didn't even attend the civil part. That was no accident. And when it came to titles, the royals were careful. Though Camilla technically could have been called Princess of Wales, she opted to be the Duchess of Cornwall out of respect for Diana's legacy, but people saw through it. To them, no title would ever clean up her image. The Queen's reluctant blessing. Even Queen Elizabeth wasn't thrilled. As the head of the Church of England, she couldn't easily embrace a woman who had been involved in an affair with her married son. It took years before the Queen even acknowledged Camilla in public. It wasn't until 2005, years after Diana's interview, that Elizabeth finally attended a function with Camilla present. And it wasn't until 2022 that the Queen made her most surprising move of all. She publicly declared that it was her sincere wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort. When Charles took the throne, it was the final seal of approval, but not everyone was buying it. A nation still divided, despite the Queen's support. Polls showed a country still divided. A 2022 survey showed that while over 50% of Brits accepted Camilla as Queen Consort, nearly a third were still firmly against it. Some even called it a betrayal of Diana's memory. Older generations, who lived through the Diana years, never let go of the scandal. For them, Camilla represented everything wrong with the monarchy: infidelity, secrecy, and cruelty. Younger generations were more forgiving, seeing Camilla as a woman who stood by Charles for decades and finally got her place. But even among them, there's discomfort. Diana's legacy is still powerful. She's still the benchmark inside the royal family. Cold shoulders and quiet tensions, and it's not just the public. Camilla's journey within the royal family wasn't exactly a smooth ride either. Princess Anne, King Charles' sister, was reportedly never fond of Camilla. Anne, known for her no-nonsense attitude, supposedly saw her as unfit for royal duties. The awkwardness wasn't just because of Charles, it also stemmed from Camilla's past with Anne's old flame, Andrew. Parker Bowles. Anne had dated him before Camilla married him. The drama ran deep. Even Princes William and Harry had mixed feelings. While they remained civil and respectful, it was no secret that they were extremely protective of their mother's memory. In interviews, Harry hinted that his relationship with Camilla was more cordial than close. The charitable queen no one talks about. What's often forgotten in the drama is how hard Camilla has worked behind the scenes. She's not flashy like Diana, but she's quietly taken on royal duties and carved out a space of her own. Camilla has championed causes like literacy, domestic abuse awareness, and osteoporosis research, causes that deeply matter to her, especially since both her mother and grandmother died of osteoporosis. She doesn't chase the spotlight, but she shows up consistently and without much fuss. Still, every good deed seems to come with a side of skepticism. Critics argue that her charity work is PR cleanup, not passion, that she's only doing it to win people over. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But after nearly 20 years of dedication, maybe it's time to ask, does she deserve at least some credit? Camilla versus Diana, a battle that never ends no matter how many royal engagements she attends or how many charities she supports. Camilla remains in Diana's shadow. Every anniversary of Diana's death, every tribute to her legacy, every flashback video, Camilla gets dragged right back into the past. The media still compares them. The public still debates who was right and who was wrong. It's like Camilla is stuck in a time loop forever, the woman who came second to Diana, even though she married Charles last. Why the hate won't go away, so why does the resentment toward Camilla still burn? Because Diana wasn't just a princess. She was a symbol. She symbolized the modern human monarchy people wanted. She gave a face to suffering and strength, and her untimely death froze her image in perfection. Meanwhile, Camilla represented secrecy, betrayal, and tradition gone wrong. It doesn't help that she doesn't have Diana's sparkle. She's quieter, more private, and let's be honest, not nearly as beloved by the press. It's not fair, but that's how myths work. Diana became a legend. And in legends, there's always a villain. Camilla today, still standing up. Despite everything, decades of insults, scandal, rejection, Camilla is still here. She's not just a royal accessory anymore. She's queen consort. She walks beside the king. She's on postage stamps, in official portraits, and at the center of national events. And maybe that's the most surprising part of all. In a monarchy defined by tradition, protocol, and image, the woman once dubbed the most hated woman in Britain has quietly become one of its most enduring survivors. She didn't win the public overnight. In fact, she may never win them completely, but she didn't quit either. And in a royal family where image is everything, maybe resilience is the most valuable trait of all. CTA, call to action. Can Camilla ever truly be accepted as queen? Or will Diana's legacy always haunt her reign? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into royal drama, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more behind the scenes royal stories. See you in the next one.